discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Pressures of the streets we spreading through the air. Still living fresh and living righteous. Redeem and redeem after. Passing these joints like it never felt my point. I'm on a hot joint. Heavy on this cliff, I call it a hot point. Let's get it.
Yo. Nakwanga kwenye zone, you should watch your tone. My niggas wanakwanga on, uspime nandikanga kwa phone. Hii ni radiation, unasikiza ndani ya bars, uspime They know that I'm the Don, teacher on duty, niki pull up na viboko skinge. I keep it real kwa kila nacho kifanya, plus I'm the sickest in the game, uspinge. Throw over old dogs, new tricks, politicians still using old tricks. Yeah, mindo connect, tukilink, take pics, anytime ukiwa and shit tutaifix. Baba yao in the mix, na wanajua wanafaa warudi keja by 6. Tafadhali usini jinx, wananitakia mema au ni show kila siku kwa streets.
Tunaigapi on the low, no jokes. Tunaigapi on the front, don't stop. Tunaigapi everywhere. Pressures of the streets we spreading through the air. Still living fresh and living righteous. Redeem and redeem after. Passing these joints like it never felt my point. I'm on a hot joint. Heavy on this cliff, I call it a hot point. Let's get it.
Bele church, nyuma nyang'ande. Ni hard kusurvive hizi pande. Ni kama hatupatani ya fande. Umewai yako, wana unihande. Nilikuwa na mcall, daily ya nipande. Maarifa kamchacha anigande. Ati sana ipei uliza tande. Low quality itabidi ni ipande. Sihitaji help clean my mess. All my sins got zero witnesses. Tupatane baraka unibless. Kapok vile unaserve the masses. Lem nigga, keep na pes. I trust me and I'll take my chances. Can't make do, who make sense. Teachings are life, where's you miss classes.
Yeah, good afternoon, family. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you had a beautiful weekend. Welcome to another beautiful episode of the Pan-African Blue Show. My name is Joby. To those who are listening on for the first time on YouTube, Beirut, to those on the network, welcome, and hope you have a beautiful week and, of course, a productive one, a peaceful one, and whatever you shall be doing, keep it the Black Hot Fire Network media of the 21st century. A quick reminder to always download our app, or other way you can find our app on the Google Play Store. It is on the Google Play Store for the Android users. If you are an iPhone, Apple user, or rather using your laptop, you can stream using our website link, www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Stay connected and get yourself some amazing organic supplements on the like of ashwagandha, beetroot, vitamin, multivitamin that is also brain and focus. We have moringa pure, we have CMOS, we have so much amazing organic supplements. Leave alone not that, we also have you covered with some amazing merchandise in terms of hoodies, beanies, t-shirts, everything that you'd prefer, your color and your size. Bakaribuni sana, where we shall be talking about what is happening, or rather what has been happening during the weekend. We'll talk about the wealthiest African political leaders and, of course, what they have done for their country. But leave along that, we also want to discuss what is also happening when we talk about where over 85% of Africa's shopping happens in the local markets, not supermarkets. And I think this should make sense to you right now, why you'd see so many Africans who say they've never even stepped into a mall. Like, it's super literally evident and self-explanatory why this has been happening. Rather, why it would literally take place. And of course, when we talk about what is also happening in Ghana, Ghanaians want Nigerians out. I think the xenophobic effect is currently spreading all over Africa. I don't know what is happening, but I'll be sharing a video on that. I don't have much details, but much details I have on is what is happening with the Juba land forces who are in Kenya. And we spoke about this last week, but it is now very much explained, and it seems that there's something happening for them to tamper with the next coming elections, that is in the 2027. So I have a video that I'll be sharing that explains all that very well. And of course, we shall be talking deeper on much more of these conversations for the day. But for now, get yourself some brain and focus formula as we get to pour our brains right here.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
It's a very affordable price. Karibuni sana once again. And as we get straight to the conversation without wasting much more of the time, we want to talk about African leaders and their wealth, literally their estimated wealth, and look at a couple of things of what they have done for their people. We're talking about specifically African puppet leaders and what have they done for their people, because most of these leaders have big net worths, but if you look at the country and what this estimated wealth is all about, is just because you're working for the white people. But they're talking about wealth and politics in Africa often walk hand in hand, with several leaders commanding fortunes that viral global billions, while exact numbers remain contested due to opaque financial system. Multiple credible reports provide a clearer picture. At the top is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Look at Nigeria today. I mean, what is Tinubu? What has Tinubu done for the people for him to be declared this wealthy? Nothing, But they're saying at the top is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, president of Nigeria, whose fortune is estimated at $8 to $8.5 billion. Billion dollars, no million. $billion, according to the AfroConnect 2025 and update briefly 2024. Tinubu's vast holdings span real estate, media, energy, hospitality, making him arguably the wealthiest sitting president on the continent. Let's look at the background of this man. Remember, he was involved in drugs back then, and he has literally just crazy records. Let's just say that he has crazy records for him to be this wealthy, but he's a president. Let's not even forget that. Real estate, most of the people are living in poverty in Nigeria. When you talk about media, people don't have freedom of expression in that country. So which media? It's not even promoting anything to do with the continent, leave alone even your country. Energy, you don't even control anything to do with that still. You might have some few shares, but white people 100% control also that. Even the things I've mentioned regarding also media. Hospitality, still, back again, most of your people are living in poverty. So it's crazy to be this wealthy and majority of your people are sinking in wealth. And that's where we go back to the dream I was talking about. What happened to you wanting to work so hard to help others? And that should have started with these leaders, because they kept on selling us dreams even when they came to schools, and giving us hopes of you can become a leader and make a change for your people. But that's not what exactly they are doing for their people. Close behind is King Mohammed, Mohammed VI of Morocco with a net worth of around $6 billion. Forbes Africa and regional media notes that his wealth comes through the Royal Holding Company, that is the SNI, which dominates sectors like telecoms, banking, and agriculture. But if you look at actually Morocco today, if you talk about agriculture, this is one amongst the country that still is expecting the other European countries and the rest that are cooperating with African nations to bring us food. Morocco is not stable agriculturally like the rest of the African countries, and unless I'm wrong, I'd love to be corrected. Other leaders also hold significant wealth. We have Ali Bongo Ondimba of Gabon, who is valued about $1 billion, largely tied to his family's oil legacy. Oil that should be benefiting his people, but mostly, of course, benefits the rest of the country and himself. While Teodoro Obianga Nguema Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea sits between $600 million, and that is $1.1 billion, according to the Africa News and Business Insider Africa, fueled by decades of control over oil revenues. Further down the list is Paul Kagame of Rwanda, is estimated at $500 to $800 million through Crystal Ventures, the ruling party's business empire, while Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa has about $450 million, according to Business Insider Africa, largely from mining and corporate investments. I mean, Kagame, we know exactly what Kagame is doing. Look at DRC Congo. I mean, look at the country itself. The people don't really have that much freedom of expression. So, and again, when you talk about the developments, it's just I love being factual, because as much as I've not been to Rwanda, I cannot judge really Rwanda because I've not really been there. But looking at the images, yes, we see looking at the images, we see the city is developed, but we don't know about the slums. We don't know if 100% of the people are living comfortably, and I bet not, because this man is actually, the net worth is increasing because of how he's able to fund, the M23 rebel is being used to, go against the Rwandese, the DRC Congo people, creating all these tribal divisions and all that. It is super, super crazy. But we're still talking about rounding out to the top 8 are labeled Abdel Fattah el-Sisi of Egypt, and with $200 to $260 million, and Paul Biya of Cameroon estimated between $200 and $300 million, mainly in the real estate and agribusiness. That is according to the AfriFact Zone. And someone on the first question asked, where did or how did they earn their wealth? Exactly. Because if you look at the countries we're not developed, we're still lacking behind in terms of development, industries, infrastructures. Despite cooperating and collaborating with these other countries like China, the European nations, the UAE, how are we still behind? And the rest of the world is actually like living in lavish. And that's why I have this video to share, because this leader gets it. I don't know who he is, but he's a political leader in Kenya, Ndindi Nyoro. I'm not sure for which political party he stands in. I'm not gonna lie, I've not done much research on that, but he's a Kenyan political leader, and he's literally addressing real facts right here. As much as him being part of this regime, and we have other people trying who can see and notice the wrong of African leadership and corruption, where it's going to lead us, still there's nothing they can do about it, because they're part of this system. So just to show quick images, just like we said, we have Bola Tinubu, whose net worth is 8 to $8.5 billion. We have King Mohammed VI of Morocco, whose net worth is estimated to be $5.8 to $8.5 billion. We have Ali Bongo Ondimba from Gabon, $1 billion. We have Teodoro Obianga Nguema Mbasogo, Equatorial Guinea president, whose net worth is estimated to be $600 million to $1.1 billion. We have Paul Kagame, whose net worth has risen from $500 million to $800 million. And we have Cyril Ramaphosa from South Africa, $150 million. We have Abdel Fattah el-Sisi from Egypt, $185 million to $260 million. And last but not least, Paul Biya from Cameroon rose from $200 million to $300 million. These are all dictators. Number one, that is something you have to notice. These are all dictators. These are all puppets. Nothing they have done for the development of their countries, not the people's lives. So yes, the good question, like the first question, is where did or how did they earn their wealth? Someone else questions on the comment says, I can guarantee you that the richest is Paul Biya. When did Tinubu had power? That is a funny one. Someone says, Tinubu is the richest black man alive. He even get money past Dangote. But una ready for this conversation. Okay, we're not ready for this conversation, Nigerian guy. But you need to understand, where do they get the money? That is the part where Africans were easily fooled. We start joking about who's the wealthiest, who isn't, who had money before who. Let's trace the funds. Where did they get these funds? Because this what this man is saying, this is very factual. We have resources. We are supposed to be way ahead in terms of so much, but we're still lacking behind. Despite our resources, we have the capability of becoming the Dubai, the America we want, but sadly, the corruption and the leadership won't take us there.
The Kiaru MP, Ndindi Nyoro, made an eye-opening speech which I would like you to listen to before we dive deep into our critical analysis. So go ahead and listen to him.
So I would want to request all of us as the leadership, and especially those who have the opportunity to make decisions in the executive. Let us serve our country with dedication. And let us not seek to give good narratives out there when the Kenyan economy is actually being teared down or torn down. We have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in 3 years. President Kibaki borrowed 1.2 trillion in the entire 10 years he was president. And therefore we have borrowed 3 times in 3 years. We have borrowed 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years.
Exactly.
That's the money.
Like Kenya is right now, if you're talking about debts, we're sinking in debt. We've borrowed thrice what the third president borrowed to just create. And actually, if you look at the development Mwai Kibaki did, is way better than rest of these other leaders. Like, being honest, we're talking about free system of education, both primary and secondary. Kibaki was the only person who introduced this. He built schools. He had the project well planned, and at first people were getting uniforms, were getting books, were getting, at first it was not really, before the corruption got in, the Kibaki's project or Kibaki's leadership literally took us somewhere as a country. He's the first person to still bring up the project that is cooperating with China, the road initiative project, where we had the first superhighway, that is the Thika Road. And now, despite what Uhuru left, which is benefit only them, that is the scam we didn't know. Uhuru's superhighway, the one we thought we're supposed to be paying back to China, this belongs to the Kenyattas. So the only actually president who actualized a lot or brought a lot of development in Kenya, it's Mwai Kibaki. That is the third president, the late third president of Kenya. So it's crazy that we've borrowed thrice. What? We've borrowed. And this is exactly, it's going to say it. This is just minus the other loans that we don't even know, that are not on record. Trust me. This is just the loan. The one that is saying we've borrowed thrice, unlike Mwai Kibaki, this is just the bare minimum of what we know. Ruto is taking loans on a daily. Like
Kenya has borrowed in the last 3 years alone. 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. And in that money, I have not included other debts that Kenya has now become clever to borrow in the name of something called securitization. I've not mentioned even that. It therefore means the economy of Kenya is borrowing 100 billion every month. And every single day, when the lights go off,
Imagine.
every day, every single day,
I've not had lights during this weekend, you guys. Do you know how boring that was? Like, please. Oh my goodness. Exactly. We're borrowing all these loans, and there's nothing we can tell they're doing to make our country better in any sort of way. We're still talking about being in the dark every single day. I've not had lights this whole weekend. The lights went off on Saturday. They came back yesterday. I don't know around what time. I had to drag my leg all the way to the studio to charge my phone because the money again. Understand right now, most of us, especially to be specific, I don't know many countries, but to be specific, Kenyans we already switched to the digital transaction, the digital whatever. People no longer use cash. So I had to drag my leg all the way to the studio to get my phone charged for me to be able to get food. Like, and exactly what he's talking about. It's the 21st century. And we're still talking about lights going off every day. And yet we're borrowing funds every single day in the name of improving this and this and this. This is crazy.
Kenya is borrowing 3.4 billion every day.
Every day. And mind you, they said, apart from borrowing, the office of the president spent, actually they released another statement just during the weekend. They spent 6 point something million to just provide breakfast. Oh my god, that 6.3, 6 point something million to provide breakfasts. And then remember, I was reading about them spending 2 million every day to just print papers. I mean, this is crazy. This is theft on our very own eyes.
That we are borrowing in a minute.
In a minute. And yeah, you remember during, because this is now during Ruto's regime. Remember during Uhuru Kenyatta's time, I reported that we were borrowing 2 million every day. I remember that was in 2021, 2022. I'm the one who gave the report in 2021, 2022. That Kenya borrows 2 million every goddamn day. Now from 2 million to 3 million is it 3 billion or 3 million? Oh my God.
You can do the calculations and see. In an hour, maybe we are borrowing around 137 every 1 hour. I'm saying this because we are now headed to the elections. And what governments do, they focus more on re-election, and we forget that we have a country to lead after the elections. And what that means is that every time we are nearing elections, we start having something called fiscal expansion. Because maybe there is nothing much to be seen for the past year, then in basically 1 year, we want everything to be seen. And therefore, what do? We become reckless in borrowing. Kenya is there now. That now our debt is 12 trillion Kenya shillings. I want to request that we do not have to put our country in that kind of pedestal in terms of borrowing. Kenya has always had development for the many years, but we never had to borrow that much. President Kibaki did a lot of development. He borrowed only 1.2 trillion for 10 years. Where is the 1.2 trillion we are borrowing every year going?
Exactly. That is the question. And I go back now to the article I was just reading. We're talking about these people having net worths, crazy net worths. What have they done for the country, for the people? We're talking about millions of people sinking in poverty, millions of people unemployed, millions of people cannot afford medical health care. Millions of people being detained in hospitals because they cannot complete their. What are you talking about? Where is all this money? And then I'm so mad because this is happening. Kenyans are so damn carried away to go to the Rema festival. I don't know who the hell this pastor is in Kenya. I don't understand how easily we're so carried away and so quick to forget and understand what distraction is. A lot is happening currently right now as Kenyans are worshiping Jesus. Oh my goodness. Politically, a lot is happening. Just 1 minute of you guys turning your head. You think these people are going to turn your heads the same as you to worship Jesus? This is crazy, man. It makes me mad. This is insane. These are the questions we need to be asking. Where are the funds that actually Ruto is taking? He's borrowing loans every single day. Where's the money? And yet we're so busy, super busy, messed up and confused with religion. We need to wake up, man.
To make the matter worse, anything you see with your mouth, with your eyes, sorry for that. Maybe the mouth is what is also being used somewhere. So I shouldn't say sorry. Let me paraphrase that. Everything you see with your eyes happening in Kenya now, in terms of development, what you can see, for example, the expansion of this Keno Marwa Road, is not even part of the 12 trillion borrowed. Is another loan on the side called Fioleve securitization. Everything else you see in Kenya in terms of development, like even the Talanta Stadium, is also not part of the 12 trillion debt. That is another debt, securitization of the sports fund, where we borrowed 46 billion and we'll be paying 100 billion in interest rate alone after 15 years. Even the expansion of Nairobi-Nakuru Road is also not part of the 12 trillion you have borrowed. That is NSSF money being used as a PPP to build that road. I request those who are in government, you have already borrowed 1.2 trillion every year. And even what we can see with our eyes is actually not part of that borrowing. Please, kueni na huruma ya nchi ya Kenya. Even as we preside over the affairs of our country, let us be, tujue kwa akili zetu ya kwamba there is Kenya after elections. Let us not run our country in terms of overheating it. We must avoid to become like Sri Lanka. We must avoid to become like Ghana. We must avoid to become like...
That's where we're headed, as a matter of fact. We're about to become Ghana, okay? I'm glad you mentioned Ghana. Ghana had the highest debt and redeemed itself by taking another debt. To reveal it, to redeem itself. That's the better term, right? Ghana had the highest debt, but to calm the situation down, took another debt. Make this make sense. That is where Kenya we're headed.
Ethiopia, we must avoid to become like Zambia in the recent years. Because Kenya is a strong country with internal resources. This issue of profligate borrowing must come to an end if we really care about this country. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Can you even believe that Kenya is borrowing 3?
Yeah, I want to listen to this guy, and he's a messed up cartoon. Sorry, brother, but that was a good video. Thank you for putting out on your channel. But yes, yeah, we can believe that, because I remember reporting 2 million being borrowed every day during the time Uhuru Kenyatta was a president. So I'm not shocked, but I'm of course shocked, because this is the highest theft I've seen in my life. Like, for real, when you talk about these leaders, this is the most blank happening on your eye type of theft. And it's like, you can do anything about it. You can do anything about it. And the reason why you can do anything about it is because also the leaders who are installed on these seats already took corrupt money, already were bought during the previous reject finance bill demonstration. Remember, there were some senators, some MPs who were bought out. So walking out of this is not going to be easy. You're already on the file of corruption. This man has you by the balls. Ruto is of all these people working under him by the balls. So it is so hard for even them, or even any one of them, to come and say, oh, this is... I wonder where someone like him, where he gets the audacity. That's why I said I'm not sure which political party he stands for. Shout out to Ndindi Nyoro, that is his name. I'm not sure which political party he stands for, but he's always been that man who talks the truth, but not all the time, because they know at the end of the day, Yeah, you'll address what people need to hear, but at the end of the day, you're held by the balls. Your corruption files are there too, you know? It is super, super, super crazy. But as we move on, I want to talk about also what is happening before we get into literally why Kenya is going on a war with itself. Kenya going at war with itself. And this is basically to stop election. You see exactly what we're addressing already. We're addressing the matters of corruption. We're addressing the matter of lack of accountability. We're addressing the matters of lack of clear auditing to let us know where the funds going. Where this borrowing of 3 million every single day, 3 billion every day. Is it 3 million or 3 billion every single day? Where are the funds going? And this is the excuse they're coming with because they're stealing money. They want to tell you we spent 6 million on just providing breakfast. What do you mean? What? I mean, no matter how many people I'm hosting, trust me, I can do the calculations of milk and it's going to be enough, and bread. It's not going to cost more than 6 million. This is crazy. Theft on our very, very own hands, on our very own eyes. And this I'll see literally because of theft again and lack of growth in the country in different ways to make us the majority live comfortably drives us to this kind of situations. We're talking about literally where over 85% of Africa's shopping happens in the local markets, actually, which is very good. Trust me, being personally as Joby, I love shopping at the local markets because number one, things are very cheap. When you talk about food, groceries, I get tomatoes, I get $1 tomatoes, I get like 30 pieces of tomatoes. I'm counting like 30 tomatoes, that is for just $1. So imagine with $5, and if you have a cool storage, you literally have like groceries to go for a month. Okay, this is the local market. When you talk about onions, I go buy onions. That is basically me because right now I've not been able to move, but every weekend or after 2 weekends, I normalize to keep groceries that can run me for 2 weekends because I don't have that much of a cool storage yet. So I keep things that I know can only run for 2 weeks and without them spoiling. So you talk about tomatoes, onions, we talk about things like garlic. You know, when I go buy garlic, literally, let's say on the road, normally, let's say I'm walking on the road to just, that is expensive. But if I go to a local market, you know, a road seller that is going to sell me one piece of garlic, very expensive. But if I go to the local market itself, at the center itself, it's really, really cheap, if I'm really making sense. So literally, I think it's a good thing. But at the same time, this creates that inequality, imbalance in the society. I don't know if it also makes sense to the point where I'm trying to make it understood where it's not gonna sound biased on both sides of the life, because most of the people actually shopping on the local markets, trust me, are the poor and of the people living also midlife, literally the people living the average type of life. The majority of those who can buy food at the supermarket, which doesn't make sense to me. I always wonder why people buy things like tomatoes, onions at the supermarket. But that class of people is only a few. I'd say it's a few. I don't know. It's average because nowadays I see people have normalized buying things at the supermarket. It's not really making sense. But again, majority still depend on the local market. But let me read this to make you understand what basically I'm trying to say, because there's supposed to be that equality of still the same, you know, if everyone can still go to the local markets and everyone can still be able to afford things at the supermarket, you know, because of this inequality, this is why you have people who have never even entered a mall. I've been sharing this kind of videos. There are people who literally in their 40s or their 30s, they've never even entered a mall. They are wowed by just entering a mall because they are always hustling. Literally, number one, those are hustlers, always on these local markets, trying to sell whatever they can to make ends meet. But in Africa, business is not defined by skyscrapers or luxury malls, of course, it thrives in the hustle of open air market and informal stalls. Study shows that over 85% of retail transaction on the continent takes place in traditional market, not in supermarkets or modern retail chains. This dominance is rooted in accessibility and affordability. Local markets offer product. Let me read that again. This dominance is rooted in accessibility and affordability, of course, and local markets offer products in small, flexible quantity that fix the daily income of millions of Africans. Unlike supermarkets, where bulk buying is common, informal traders sell in units as small as single tomatoes, a few spoonfuls of rice, or a sachet of milk. Okay, that is unlike supermarkets where bulk buying is common. Informal traders sell in units as small as single tomatoes, as few spoonfuls of rice, or a sachet of milk, which I'll tend to disagree a little bit because, like I said, personally, when I go to the local market, and unlike the supermarket, in the supermarket, it's not really everything you buy in bulk. That's also something else. Nowadays, milk, you can buy single milks. Back then, yes, it was hard for you to find single milks at the supermarket, but nowadays they're there. You don't need to have a whole carton for you to be able to afford milk. It's a few things that you'll need at the supermarket that are expensive. Just that's it. And there are people who'd rather go to the local cheaper market, which also, unlike the supermarket, this is where you get these fake products, something else. Because understand, we have different competitive companies. When you talk about cooking oil, when you talk about noodles, when you talk about ugali flour, especially ugali flour. Oh my God, for me, I can't stand it right now. They keep on changing ugali flours. Like, I can't even. The best ugali flour literally companies we have right now are just two. The I'd say the the long known products of ugali flour are completely now destroyed, because we have people who are making this ugali, but I don't know, the lower grade and the fake grade, but because they can be able to get these stamps easily and put the product on the market, that's when it gets to these local markets where people can afford it. That's why you find literally this is cheaper than when you go to the supermarket. I don't know if you guys understanding me, but there's also talking about beyond affordability, these markets are deeply embedded, yeah, in community life. They provide jobs for millions of traders. That is so true. Transporters. That is so true. And artisan. That is so true. Fueling the informal economy that contributes up to 40% of Africa's GDP. For many rural and urban poor households, markets are not just places of trade but survival networks. While supermarkets chain are expanding in Africa's cities, their reach remains limited compared to the vibrancy. Let me read that again. While supermarkets chain are expanding in Africa cities, their reach remain limited compared to the vibrance and scale of local markets. For investors and policy makers, this fact is a reminder Africa's retail future cannot be built without recognizing the power of its traditional marketplace. I agree. I do agree. But personally, I think with that, it has they supposed to be, because if we didn't have corruption involved and all that, someone still who is able to afford things at the local market should still be able to afford most of the things at the supermarket. Like for me, I'm talking about for me at least I can afford both. I can go to the local market and I can still go to the supermarket and get my things. But there are most, like the article says, we're talking about this group promoting 40% of Africa's GDP and 85% of the retail transaction on the continent, which takes place in the traditional market. Like, I just feel like there's some inequality in it. There's some inequality. There's advantages and disadvantages. And advantages is where you can get most of the goods in quantity at a cheaper price. But you also have to be careful, because the disadvantage is most of the commodities that you can get that are really good products at the supermarket and are expensive for you to get, you can get them, yes, at these local markets, but they are poor products, actually maybe fake products, and they might end up damaging you health-wise or in any sort of way. So you have to be really, really careful. It's good, but it's also bad. But I do love, personally, I'm a sucker for for local shopping. I can't even wait once I get this leg removed. On Saturday and Sunday, I'm just about to wander my legs all around, like, to just walk, take a walk, just do shopping, because I really miss doing that. That is something I like, and I've been doing it since I was a child with my mom, with my stepmom. I've grown up doing that. Love going to the local market. But on the last conversation of the day, the main conversation, we have Kenya, which is getting into war with itself. And why or how? Last week, I talked about the Juba land forces who are in Kenya, and we talked about the Kenya Defense Forces not even being able to respond to what is happening, which is literally insecurity. Insecurity literally rising in the northern parts of Kenya, in Mandera to be specific. Currently, we're talking about civilians being killed. We're talking about lands being taken away forcefully from these people. I shared a couple of videos even from TikTok of some women explaining what is really, really happening. But also, as this is happening in Nairobi, we have theft, which is increasing, because I remember I actually combined the two conversations, and I didn't expect someone else to also understand basically what is also happening. But for them, they got it on a deeper level as well, on what is coming. We have also insecurity in the Nairobi city. We've been speaking about in the weekends, people are complaining the weekends, once it's 7 p.m., it is so hard for people to be walking around or wandering the streets of Nairobi, that is in the main city. And this is because of the goons. During the demonstrations, remember, we had young people being paid by the Nairobi governor, who's currently facing impeachment. We had young people being paid to go distract demonstration, to beat people, and to steal. Of course, this was not going to last for long, or neither was it going to become something that the youths were going to ignore as well. Because once you promote people who are not employed, that they can do something, what do you expect them to do? Once you promote people when, to become a distraction when people are fighting for what is rightfully theirs, and then this situation comes down, and you're not there to keep on fueling them with the same money or propaganda, what is it going to do? You build the confidence, and this confidence is what is going to keep them going, that the fact that we've been backed up as goons of this town, we're gonna move the same way. So apparently it's not just a thing going on because of lack of employment. Leaders are actually the ones fueling these goons in the city. That is the rumors according to what is happening. Leaders currently, because of the coming elections, they know they are going to lose. Ruto is going to lose. So the fact that he knows, we have people who are working for him and these other political parties, because currently we've seen this many political parties emerging in Kenya. We have Gachagua, we have those who have been there, Raila Odinga, and many more who are also, I can't even mention because there's so much confusion being created. But this is being created so that they can fuel political war. Okay, they're trying to fuel political wars. They're paying goons to go rob people in the street so that they can find who to accuse, and so that this can become a political war. I don't know if it's making sense. And the same thing is happening now currently in Mandera, where we have the Juba land forces, who the Kenya Defense Forces have not been able to say anything about. Good morning to you too, Keith. Who they've not been able to say anything about because they're very well protected, and the Kenya Defense Forces is not going to say anything about it because Ruto is so much deep involved in this. So what is happening in Nairobi City and the northern part of Kenya, they're all connected, and this is because of the 2027 coming election. They know they're going to lose, and they're trying to create war in the country so that when there's war in the country, this is going to make the US to say Kenya cannot be able to hold an election in 2027 because of the insecurity crisis rising in this particular part and this particular part. So I'm going to share this video again. I was watching this video and I was saying, just like the other guy, I don't know where they're getting the confidence to talk about this, but they better hide, because Ruto doesn't want people to be knowing none of this. And at the same time, as much as I want to defend people not wanting to know about this, where are the people? You're being distracted by religion. Look at the things happening in your country. Politicians are not going to turn their heads in a minute to look at the best preacher in the world. Politicians are so focused on keeping you ignorant, which is part of it. Bringing things and allowing some things to run in the country to create distractions like this bullshit of a festival going on. You're all yelling Jesus as they do this. So let me share this video.
For more than a week, the presence of Jubaland forces inside Kenya has sparked a storm of questions. The invasion can no longer be brushed aside, and now the internet is buzzing with one central puzzle. Who truly commands the Somalia militia? Is it Kenya or Somalia? To cut through the noise, we turned to Ndura Waruingi, speaking from the UK, and he didn't hold back. According to him, the story of Jubaland's troop in Kenya is far more complex than most imagine.
Of course, he had to go to the UK. I bet he's hiding because he's been speaking so many facts about the Kenyan government and the corruption. Literally, he's spoken so many facts. So I bet probably he's hiding. I'm not really sure, but shout out to this man right here.
Is out how the forces crossed into Kenya, how Nairobi's government has quietly collaborated with them, and why Kenya has no intentions of pushing them out of the country. Even more explosive, he claims the current administration is eyeing the militia's presence in Mandera County as a tool, not just for border security, but for shaping the political destiny of Kenya itself. Take a listen.
Now watu wako trainiwa huko juu, trainiwa Nairobi. They are part and parcel of our citizens. So this is something that the president knows, the government knows, the intelligence of Kenya knows. And I don't think how a governor, full governor, can come out to say that this is happening and then it is there. It all depends with the interest. Whose interests are they serving? Tunaona juzi tu tulikuwa na RSF. RSF ni ile ya Sudan ambayo mkubwa yake ni gaidi. Na Kenya ndio tunampacilitate, Kenya ndio tulimpatia mahali pa kufanyia conferences.
Yeah, so we had the RSF, and of course it's talking about the Kenya Intelligence Service does know about this. The president knows about this. The Kenya Defense Forces knows these people are in this border of Kenya and they're not doing anything about it. So
hawa wa Somalia ndio hawa sasa unasikia wa Juba ndio wanapigana, ndio wako Saudi C na Saudi B na wako upande ule mwingine wa kwenda mpaka Isli, some part of Isli, and the one controlling the economy right now. They're the one ambao wanafanya kazi na mtu anaitwa Duale. The clan that rules ni clan moja ambayo inatawala Kenya, the Somali Kenya and the Somali.
He's saying the Somali forces literally currently the people, he's mentioned a couple of areas which we know, and actually those are the places mostly occupied, yes, by Somalians, to be specific. This group of Somalians, you know, you can never tell Ethiopians and Somalians. It's just the same as Asians. But anyway, yeah, in South C, South B, and Isili especially is where is mostly commonly known to be having the Somali people. And apparently these are the forces, these are the Somali forces, and these are the places they live in. So he's talking about where these people have been trained. They were trained here. They have been here for so long. So Kenya and Somalia has had a partnership for so long, or a good relationship or friendship for so long. So
Minister was Somali, President was Somali, kila kitu ya Somali ni one clan. The same as clan.
It's one clan that actually it's one clan that controls also this Somali force. If it makes
na huyu mkubwa intelligence, mkubwa wa huyu Duale, mkubwa, yani hawa wakubwa wote unaona kwenye government ya Kenya, ni klani moja na wakubwa wote wako side ile nyingine. So the conflict is that they have the protection, they have been given a place to operate from because it is a clan, their clan that is in here ambayo inawasaidia kule kwingine. Are you getting me?
I get you.
And this clan ndio iko ndani ya serikali. Ndio wako ndani ya army. This clan ndio iko na.
So the reason why the Kenya Defense Forces won't react on it is because majority of also the people on the Kenya Defense Forces are these Somali people, Somalians, and they're giving protection because the fact that Kenya has a good relationship with Somali. I don't know, what he's trying to explain is going to get to the main point. The reason why these people are being protected on the border is because this clan is deep in the government. They have been long doing so many things and they are so much protected by the presidents.
They're controlling through Duale. You know, Duale anafanya vituko venye anafanya vituko, nobody's questioning them. Again, huko hiyo njia ya Mandela ndio kunapitishwa vitu zote za magendo. Zinapitishwa vitu zote, contraband zote zinapitishwa side hiyo. So for them it is securing a territory, and in this territory ni kusecure territory because ni ya kuleta vitu vile wanaleta wa biashara hawa kwao. Number one. Number two,
securing a territory of bringing literally resources is not mentioning that.
Kwa serikali ya Kenya, we have been all trying as in the elections. Why tumekuwa na crisis after crisis, crisis after crisis, because they want that instability. The Kenyan government, they want that instability. Government, they want to do this. Sijui Amonyoro is doing this. Sijui Amonyoro ameenda. All these stories are well calculated to make sure that there will be no election in Kenya. Kwa upande ya Kenya ni mipangilio ya kuhakikisha tumepanga kila kitu mingia venye hakutakuwa na election, because when kutakuwa na instability, when we have one part of the country that is under war, under siege, it means Kenya cannot go into election when there is no stability, complete stability and security. So this one thing is one of the many things that Ruto is trying to do to make sure that he succeeds in postponing the election. Because for them, for now, they are not ready for election. They know if they go for the election, they will fail. Therefore, they are doing everything possible. Wameona wameshika watoto, wamepiga watoto ndio kusemekane watu watoke nje, wapige manduru, kusemekane serikali ilikuwa inataka kupinduliwa, ndio kuwe na reason ya kufanya kitu. Namba 2, kuna goons ambazo wameinuka. Hizi goons, some of them are trained. They are not ordinary people. They are just trained people. Ni watu walikuwa kwa army, ni watu walikuwa kwa nini. Juzi nilikuambia ile historia ya jamaa watatu.
Yeah, so he's talking about the goons, the insecurity currently rising now in Nairobi, which I've mentioned and we talked about last week. And I say the reason why this is happening is because most of these goons were paid. And that, of course, the aftermath, it was very evident. Once you give people, especially idle people, a certain confidence, it's like you've given them the power. It's like you've put a gun on, I don't know how they say it. It's like you've put a gun ready to shoot. It's ready to do its whatever. And that's basically what the Nairobi governor, Ruto, and his people, what they did during the demonstration. Paying goons who are unemployed, forgetting these people are still going to come back to the street, because during Uhuru's time, or Kibaki, during the first term of Uhuru, there was serious cleansing of crime. And when I mean serious cleansing, like serious cleansing. Okay, we had you could hear a certain cop. There was a certain cop who was very much wide known in the whole of Kenya. Like you could hear this guy is coming to your area. You guys better shut you, because it's hunting. It's serious hunting of thugs. So the fact that these people are trying to bring back what Uhuru had already cleansed, it's really messy. Nairobi had matters of insecurity, like we're talking about 10 years ago. We've lived very much okay without thugs. As much as your phone is going to get robbed, it's not really that the way it was. And I'm talking about when I was in high school or primary. There are times when now you couldn't work with a phone. Even anyone, you are not supposed to even be known you have a smartphone. It was an issue if you have a smartphone. You have to work with your phone in the teeth. Like you have to put your phone in between your teeth as a woman. For a man there to put it on the socks, which they eventually came to be discovered, you know. So if you didn't have a proper suit or if you didn't come at home on time, the dogs are on you. So Ruto cleansed, Uhuru Kenyatta literally, there was a time his people, the people he had put to work in terms of security, cleansed all that. But the fact that this is coming back, it's not only threatening majority of people's lives, it's now heading to the point where they're trying to create war within the country. Because exactly what he's trying to explain, this is all political interest. It's not about the people, it's all political interest. You're trying to create issues so that, because you already know you've already lost. Kenyans don't want you in power, and you know you've lost. And people are so much focused still, I'd say, on the 2027 election. Despite this minimal distraction, I bet still the mindset of people is you cannot come back. You can't. So this is very, very messy. It's not nice.
Walikuwa former KDF au walishikwa tena wakaachiliwa. Unakumbuka?
Yeah, nakumbuka.
Story ulifanya.
Yeah? Yeah, kina Patrick Osoi.
Kuna jina wanajiita
The FBI.
FBI.
Fighting brutality.
FBI si ati ni kitu ambayo serikali hawajui. This the same as the goons ambao mnasema goons. Lakini nao katika mpango mkubwa ambao wako nao watu kusemekane kuko na insecurity. Kuna watu wamepanga njama ya kupindua serikali. Kuna watu wamefanya nini?
Yeah, they're trying to say that they're trying to stage a fake coup so that the elections can be changed, trying to create insecurity in different parts of the country so that the elections can be changed. And of course, he understood it. Once the US intervenes in this, that's it. And of course, this is still very well orchestrated with the US knowledge. Let's not forget that. And when we talk about the US, we also know who knows what is happening. We know apart from the US, we know who knows what is happening. So, yeah.
It is a bigger and larger plan to make sure that these people doesn't get out of power. So when postponed. Remember, wameanza tena ka story ka constitution. Ati kutakuwa na mazungumzo ya constitution, kutakuwa na kitu inaitwa.
I bet I saw that coming. I saw that coming. The moment we heard Ruto saying that every 27th of July. Yes. The moment we heard Ruto saying every 27th of July, we're going to be having the constitutional holiday, like the holiday to appreciate what Constitution Kibaki brought, which literally talks about or gives us a lot of, rights democratically, that is freedom of speech and all that, which he doesn't allow us to participate. The moment he said this is going to become a national holiday, that is when I knew he's looking for a way when he's going to change this during that national holiday. This guy is very, very smart. Oh my God. Like there, you have it. The moment we had the 27th of July marked as a as a holiday, that is when the constitutional of Kenya changed. That is when we should have known this guy has marked a day when he's going to change oh my goodness, this is crazy. So next year we shouldn't be shocked if we see the constitutional changing. Oh my God. Kenya, we're so doomed. If we don't fight, like Ruto is so calculated. Ruto is so way ahead of us. This is what I speak about, even leave alone, because I keep on questioning why people have an agenda, but we don't. It's not that we don't. It's us, the majority, who don't. These puppets have an agenda, all backed up by all these European Western powers and the cat with the who, Oh God. He also mentioned we have, I don't know which headquarters of Israel where we put the weapons. Let me share. He's going to mention it. This is how you know we are completely puppet. Our country is so going.
Kubadilisha constitution and anytime
Oh my God.
kutakuwa na mazungumzo ya kubadilisha constitution na kupitisha constitution itabadilishwa, it means kutakuwa na postponement.
Exactly.
Many things and the cancellation of many appointments. Exactly. Meaning at the same time they would have wataenda kusik kuongezea muda wa serikali, kuongezea muda wa mipango.
Exactly, because the moment if he changes the constitution, oh Lord, we're so doomed. Well, how didn't we see this coming? We should have even rejected that holiday. The moment he changes the constitution is going to change the presidential terms, which means Ruto can increase his presidential terms. Oh my goodness. Oh God. What? Oh no.
Sasa itasemekana kwa sababu hii katiba imepitishwa, basi hii constitution ime-extend this term. Remember, katika hiyo kitu yote the president ameslot in kitu inaitwa position ya prime minister bila watu kujua. So we will discuss under distress. So ukishikanisha mambo ya Mandela na ushikanisha na what Ruto is doing under and what Ruto was doing wakati wa Gen Z, alipitisha ile nani ya finance bill na appropriation bill zote zilipita bila sisi kujua. Because he's thriving on a situation, anainua wakati kila mtu anaangalia ni Gen Z, watoto wameuawa, watoto wameshikwa, kuna vitu vingine vinafanyika huko chini ya maji. So mambo ya Mandela inaweza kuwa is a project ya Ruto na wenzake, ndio nyinyi mkoncentrate na mambo ya Mandela. Kenya imevaniwa, Kenya imefanywa nini, jeshi. And that is where people need to be a little.
Exactly. Oh my God, there's a lot of distraction. It's so much. He knows, that's why he's hiding. Because this man has been speaking so much truth. That's why he's in the UK. I don't know if he's a taxi driver there or whatever he's doing. But shout out to him. The moment the constitution is going to change, this guy is going to change the presidential terms. And he's saying, as much as right now we're focusing on now, because this is also another distraction. Now people are focusing on what is happening on Mandera, on the goons in Nairobi, while him and the people working under him are focusing on changing the constitution. Okay? This is crazy.
Be careful with what Ruto anafanya, maana tutakuja kupata vitu vile atakuja kutufinya, kutupiga nazo. Hizo vitu zote itakuwa zilipitishwa bunge. Ukifanya nini? Makelele. Kumbuka juzi tena ameleta shouting ya kusema kuna wabunge wamepokonywa, wamehongwa, wamefanya nini, na immediately ameanza kuleta vitu ambavyo vitapitishwa kwenye bunge. So kuna wabunge wote hawa wametumiwa files za anti-corruption. Meaning kama umeona faili kwa beza yako na unasikia unadaiwa shilingi milioni 300, utaendelea kupiga kelele kweli?
Of course not. Exactly what I said. He presented the files of all the corrupt leaders. He gave, oh my God, Ruto is so smart. He presented the files of all the corrupt leaders. That is all the members of the parliament. So this is a way of shutting them down. And that's what I was trying to explain from the beginning. Most of these people are grabbed by the balls. They can't even say a goddamn thing about this regime. And that's why I was trying to, like, from the video I shared, the second video of Ndindi Nyoro talking about how we need to use our resources and how we oh God, we're sunk in corruption. Oh, Jesus, this is crazy. This is super insane. I'm mind blown. I'm listening to this video for the third time, but it's still mind blowing. Trust me. Because Ruto is so smart. Yeah, we've seen, other leaders are smart, but this one, oh my God. Oh, no. He has these leaders by the balls, so no one can speak against him because, number one, he's given you corrupt money before, okay? You all accepted some certain sort of funds during the reject finance bill. Most of y'all. And some of y'all you're still in the circle of corruption because in this you've been, whether on this regime or the previous regime, you've been in corruption. You've been involved in corruption. So he has you by the balls. Whether you do what he wants, you sign whatever papers he wants to pass, make it a constitution, or you end up in prison. You see how this is going?
Makelele, unaletewa faili. Hautafanya makelele tena, you will go down. This is a ploy by the intelligence system of Kenya, ambayo wanaelewa who is in Mandela, and they know the reason the Mandela saga is happening. Wanaelewa why we have the goons in Nairobi. Nairobi saizi hakupitiki, nilikuambia. Hizi goons watakuja kubadilika na hakutapitika kwa sababu kuna watu wanataka kupigwa ndani ya city. Kuna watu wanataka kuambiwa ndio wenye hii goons. But who is the owner of them?
Exactly. Political. It's all political benefits. It's who's, because they're gonna fuel all this, then they're gonna start blaming each other now. This other political party is gonna look bad because they're trying to find someone to blame. And all this is crazy. Blame games, like we always see. This one didn't do better. This is the main reason why it's doing. He's the one who funded the goons. Now you see the problems we have. Then someone else is gonna say, "Oh, during the demonstration, this one didn't do it. I ensured what?" Oh my God.
Instance, KDF wangekuwa hata iwe ni ruma. KDF wangekuwa tumeona mandege zikienda Mandera, mavifaru zikienda Mandera, unaona marodi zinapanda Mandera, but nothing is happening. America ingekuwa ishaanza kuongelelea mambo kama hayo. Lakini sasa hizi kwa sababu ni kitu fiche, kitu ambacho kimefichwa kwa ajili ya mipangilio ya kesho, sio mipangilio ya sasa. It is all about election. What you are saying in Mandela, what you are saying kwenye goons ambao wako Nairobi, our goons, they are well known. Ni watu ambao wamelipwa, sustained, lakini sasa they are leading a group ambao hawajielewi. Sasa hizi goons ni zile Sakaja alikusanya, wamefanya vitu, wameonyeshana they have their...
These are the goons that were paid during the demonstration.
The goons, they have their control. Angalia mpaka ile story ulisikia ikisemekana si former Mungike members nilihusika kwenye kuvunja masupermarkets kule na Naivasha, kule Nyeri, kule Mwea, and ukiangalia kuna siku hiyo kuna kesi ya mtu ilidropiwa, na siku hiyo kupatia kule Githurai ukasikia kuna watu walienda wakishout wakisema ndovu. So all these things ni a coined story that is working for the president because of the plans he has in the future. It is not only him that is doing this. Kuna watu kama Duale is planning to become the president of Kenya. So that's unaona akiendelea kusema now wamepata population ya kutosha kuchagua mtu. Now they are ready for the leadership takeover. And again, remember kuna siku Duale wakati he was wakati alichaguliwa akawa minister, kuna statement alisema, never again shall our community be looked down upon. Never again. Hakuna siku nyingine wa Somalia watahesabiwa kama ni second hand material. Alisema akimaanisha kitu kingine. Nyinyi mlifikiria dignity yao ndio ameinua, lakini alisimama akisema now we are in control of the nation. Remember that's the time this mkubwa wa DCI ni wao, mkubwa wa intelligence ni wao, yeye alikuwa kwa army. So unaona the entire system, deputy army commander alikuwa ni wakwao, ni the same clan. So unakuta the entire kwenye resolution,
it's all corrupt, like literally it's crazy. This is super crazy, but this is where our country is currently heading. That is literally what is happening. So when you're gonna hear me reporting about literally these opposition leaders or blame games or insecurity literally more rising in Kenya, at least there's heads up on what is happening. I've already given you heads up on what we actually expecting. So it's right now, I think we're in a very crucial at a very crucial point as a country, being honest, not only in terms of security, but also in terms of the next election, because this is way too much. And then understanding if tribalism is still going to play part in all this. Oh my God, you guys. I fear for my country. I'm telling people around me, in 2027 is not going to be peaceful. It's already evident. Look at what Ruto is doing to just maintain power. This is evident. This is someone who wants dictatorship so bad and is willing to do anything to maintain it. So it is up to us whether we want to keep on yelling Jesus or we want to literally put on weapons and go fight for our country out here. Because within a blink of an eye, again, we're not going to be having lands. We keep on thinking this is a joke, leave alone white people. Our leaders themselves are so greedy. Go back to the first article I just started the show with you guys. We're talking about net worths that are not making sense. Bola Tinubu, 8.5 billion. Where's that all coming from? Moroccan president, 8.5 billion. Ali Bongo from Gabon, 1 billion. Teodoro Obianga from Equatorial Guinea, 1.1 billion. Paul Kagame from 500 to 800 million dollars. And we're talking about dollars, not their currency. Ramaphosa from South Africa, who can't protect, do nothing for his people, $450 million. Egypt, the president, who they don't even belong to that country, $260 million. Like, we're talking about crazy net worths. Crazy net worth of these people not doing anything for their people, taking loans every single day. You've had Kenya, we're borrowing 3 million every single day. Again, I can't put the figures correct. I was not sure if it's 3 million or 3 billion, but you've had it's 3. I've shared the video. It's crazy and mind-blowing. We're not supposed to be suffering like this as Africans. There's so much wealth, and these puppets are pocketing it all. And they're pocketing it all by ensuring also they stay in power for long. We need to fight. My leg is coming back on, man. I'm on that war. My leg is back. My leg is coming back. By Thursday, I'm gonna be walking. Like, we need to fight with the democracy. None of these leaders represent democracy. The democracy is not what the paper says. We are the democracy, and we have to own it. We have to own that, and we have to fight for that. I don't know how else to say it, but basically, literally, as I wind up with today's conversation, we can't fight for it also as we do this. This is what is happening in Ghana. I have no full details of what literally brought all these issues in Ghana, but the article says what you see in these visuals is really painful if you are an African watching Black people treating each other in this manner. But we must also understand that such things will not go away until we address the root cause that drive people from their own countries to the other lands. Exactly. Because I'm not moving from Kenya to Tanzania to look for a job for no goddamn reason. I'm not moving from Kenya to go to Uganda to go open up a shop for no reason. There's a reason why I can't open here. I can't afford to live here. My country is expensive. If I can afford to live in Uganda, so be it. Why won't you welcome me? Again, I'm not living there for free. I'm paying taxes. Critical thinking is so gone within our people to the point critical thinking is so gone, you don't even understand. Anyway, it's crazy. But they're saying it is ironic that today it is the Ghanaians who are chasing Nigerians away from Ghana, when in 1983, Sehu Shagari, then president of Nigeria, chased Ghanaians away from Nigeria, accusing them of messing up the economy. History has a cruel way of repeating itself on our continent. Instead of learning from the past mistakes, we recycle the same prejudice and injustice. It's tragic that more than 40 years later, Africans still treat fellow Africans as outsiders, forgetting that our destinies are tied together. Until African leaders create economies that give dignity, jobs, and opportunities to their people, the cycle of forced migration, resentment, and xenophobic behavior will continue haunting us. These Ghanaians this weekend.
In your country, Nigerians and other nationalities, if you are here illegally, you must leave Ghana. Yes. You must leave Ghana. Ghana is not safe. We will deal with you people in our own ways.
You know what's crazy? If you asked me literally randomly, I'd say that was a Nigerian. That's the idiotism we have in our minds. We don't even see how related we really are. If you ask me, I'd say that was a Nigerian. I wouldn't know that's a Ghanaian from the accent itself. It's crazy, but much love, family. I hope our I hope our people, we get better senses and we wake up. We deserve better when it comes to us, when it comes from our leaders, and we deserve to treat each other also better, because that behavior is being fueled by your leader. Your leader is not going to yell at Nigerians, get out. No, he doesn't even understand that. As a matter of fact, he's comfortable with his balloon stomach in a jacuzzi somewhere, owning different offshores in multiple bank accounts. You don't even have a bank. You don't even know what a bank account is. We need to wake up. Do something about yourselves, man. You need to do something about us. We can't keep on waiting on Jesus. He's not coming. But much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. See you guys, of course, later on the Africa Today show. This has been the Pan-African Bliss with me, Joby. Shout out to everyone who has been with me on BitChute, on YouTube, on the network. And to those who shall be catching this on a replay, of course. Hope you guys leave your comments, hit that like button, subscribe, download our app on the Google Play Store. Remember to get yourself some amazing supplements on the like of ashwagandha, multivitamin, moringa, CMOS, pure. And also we have some amazing merchandise on the like of hoodies, beanies, t-shirts, hats, anything you'd like. A handbag for yourself, for your for yourself. Yeah, literally there's unisex handbags if you don't know. That's what I'd say, for yourself, for your wife, or for your side chick. But have yourself an amazing day. See you guys later on the Africa Today show. Peace.